Hi, Kodiak Charlie here. We're going to be testing out the new Razorback matting today. We just installed it in stream sluice. Unfortunately, there's no running water down here. There's been a drought out here in the Midwest for quite a while. We had 2 inches of rain yesterday, but it just filled in this hole. Again, there's no running water, so we can't really test it, but we do have a contingency plan. Okay, here's the contingency plan. We've got a Job or Joby, however you want to pronounce it, power sluice header box. And basically all we're going to do is be pumping water into the stream sluice itself, and we're going to simulate the running water we'd have from a sluice. So we remove the flare, we put on the header box. All we got to do is set up a pump, connect to it, and adjust the water flow down. This is a medium flow matting, and like I said, we're going to be testing it and experimenting. One point I'd like to show you is the mat clip we made. You'll notice it's not pop riveted. It is it's bolted, and that's so we can transfer it between the header box and the flare on the sluice. It's also, if it wears out, you can just unbolt it and swap it out with a new one. Okay, we've got the water hooked up to it. We're using a 1.5 horsepower 50 gallon per minute pump, and it's pretty much an idle. I think we can go down a little more on it. We'll play with it later. You can see the water flow we've got. There's right now between 1/4 and 1/2 inch of water flowing over the largest riffle on the Razorback mat right now. We are going to be feeding it shortly, and by the way, we've also got some Gold Hog concentrates we're going to run. But there's about a 1/2 inch angle on the dredge itself where it's sitting, and we're going to start feeding it. We're going to get some classify some of this gravel down to 1/4 inch and hand feed it like we normally would. But I think we pretty much got it set up for a medium flow that you might find in a stream. We may bump it down a little bit and see if the matting's working at a lower flow than this. We're going to go high and low. One thing you want to make sure you don't do is flood your box out. You're setting your sluice in a stream, feeding it from a stream. Don't submerge it to the point where you flooded your box. Make sure you have at least minimum 1/4 inch of flow across your largest riffle. Even though this is a stream sluice, you can do the same thing as a floating dredge. You can flood the box out, and you don't want to do that. Okay, at the current flow rate we have, it doesn't appear that the riffles or grooves are really cleaning out. So we're going to adjust the angle a little bit. It is starting to clear out a little bit, but we may put a little steeper angle on it and see if we can get it to clear out a little better. I really don't think increasing the flow would be fair, because this is about what you're going to have in most streams, the flow rate here. So we're going to play with it, see where we can get the most optimum setting, but I think right now we're going to be working mainly with angle instead of water speed. Like I said, I think that's an accurate simulation of the flow we'd have through most of the normal streams, and it is, I call it a medium flow. So we'll adjust the flow and, adjust the angle and play with it from there.
like it's dancing around.
Okay, right now we've got about a inch per foot pitch to it. I think we're probably going to end up increasing the pitch a little bit more. It's really about like any other hand sluice or stream sluice. You'll dump your material in the hopper, or not the hopper, excuse me, the flare, and it takes a while sometimes for the riffles to clear out a little bit, which these are. So we're going to keep feeding it, and we may increase the angle just a little bit more. But behind the large riffle, the sand is dancing, so it is working. Okay, those riffles are clearing out at this angle and this flow, and we're feeding it. I don't know if you can see by the video, but everything is clearing out. The sand that is in there, the gravel is dancing, so it's exchanging. Really seems to be working pretty good. And this is at about a 1 inch per foot angle, and you see the flow we've got. That's really about what I've always seen in most of the hand sluices or stream sluices around here anyway that I've used. You really don't have a large volume. This is medium velocity matting. One thing, it does have pretty wide spectrum of use. It's been used in high bankers and dredges both to pretty good success. And you can see in between shovelfuls that the riffles are clearing out, and it is exchanging material. We're going to run some more stream gravel through here, and then run a bag or two of gold hog concentrate through, and then shut the water off and see what kind of gold we can see. We'd have to do probably 20 or 30 buckets of this stream gravel to get any color in here, so we're going to shoot a little bit and use some concentrate to test it. But so far it looks like it's doing pretty good. They are clearing out. And you'll notice right up in this area where the water's coming across the mat clip, it seems to be clearing out better. I believe that's mainly because there's a little turbulence the way the header box is feeding the water in, and that's why it's clearing that out. As you can see up in here, the header box, the way it feeds, we seem to get a stream on both sides and it converges right in the middle. So right now, this is something you're going to have to play with when you set it up in a stream, is adjust your angle to what the actual stream flow is. Like I said, we have not adjusted the pump speed. The only way we've adjusted the flow is by adjusting the angle up. The higher we go, the better the ripples are clearing out. As you can see in between scoops, it does clear out. Now he's feeding another one in, and I'll keep the camera on it so we can see how fast it clears out. Okay, now they pretty much cleared out. Sand particles behind the riffles are clearing, so the heavier material is staying behind the riffles, and that's what we want. And it is clearing out pretty decent. So realistically, when you set your stream sluice up, given whatever your water flow is, adjust the pitch, don't flood your box out. Right now, I think we're pretty much at a realistic angle. Water depth in the box, and water speed for your average stream. It's working perfect. We're going to put a few more boxes in here, or excuse me, a few more shovelfuls in here. And then we're going to run some gold hog concentrates through it. We'll let it run for a while, clear out, and see what we've got. But I'm pretty impressed with the matting right now. That's what it was originally designed for, was a medium flow stream. The UR mat and scrubber mat will work in a stream environment, but you do need higher speed water in it to get the matting to start exchanging material. This is ideally suited for a stream sluice. So right now the razorback matting seems to be working and working well. Okay, we've let water flow through this for about a minute. You'll notice how it pretty much cleans out everything from behind the largest riffle on the razorback matting. Seems to be working pretty good. In fact, the only way I've ever stream sluiced before was with metal riffles and the green miner's moss, and this is clearing out faster, and it seems to be retaining heavier material a lot better. I know previous experience with the metal riffles and the green miner's moss, it would just load up between riffles, and it really wasn't recovering like this is. Again, you see the flow, that hasn't changed. We haven't fed it for about a minute, and you already see how the material is cleared out from behind the large riffles. It's still retaining material, which is heavier material. We're going to run through some gold hog concentrates and see how that does here in just a minute. Okay, I got a couple bags of gold hog concentrates. We're going to be running those through here to test it. There's about a 99.9% chance that the gold hog concentrates do have minus 50 and minus 100 mesh flour gold in it. At least everybody I've talked to that's got these bags hasn't been disappointed yet. And as you can tell, we cut the tops off, dug through them, and there is some gems in with these. So I'll show you the gems later on, but right now we'll go ahead and feed a little bit of this through and see what we get. Okay. And one thing that's good about the concentrates is they are shipped moist. They're not wet, they're moist. That way all the gold doesn't settle down to the bottom of the box, or the bag, excuse me. Is that a gem?
Yep.
Okay. Is that one that looked like a big heavy rock? Yep. Okay. We'll get it out in a minute. Okay, just feed it a little bit and then let the riffles clear out a little bit, and then feed some more, like you normally do when you feed a hand sluice. And you'll notice that they have cleared out pretty well. And one good thing about Doc's Gold Hog concentrates is they are great for testing equipment, like we're doing right now. They're relatively cheap compared to what you normally get when you buy a bag of concentrates. And he doesn't seed these; it's right straight out of his dredges that he tests with, and his other equipment. Like I've said, I haven't talked to anybody yet that's been skunked. There is some gold in them, so Good way to test equipment also. And if you're bored in the winter months, you can pan them out. I hate panning, so this is about as far as I'm going to get. Running it through the sluice and then panning the concentrates from the sluice. But you notice he's just trickling it in there. The ripples are clearing out. We've got to dig around the gravel at the end of this sluice after we get this bag done and see if we can find that gem. Here's one of the gemstones we pulled out of the bag. It's, I'll have to ask Doc what it is. It's about the color of cream soda, and it's really nice looking. So, I'm going to have to ask Doc what this is, because I'm not a rock hound. One thing you want to be aware of if you're using the concentrates for testing, that apparently there's some gemstones other than sitting on top of the bag of material. There's some throughout the material, so we're going to dig up at the end of this stream sluice after we get done and recover the other gems that have traveled down the sluice. But after we get done feeding this bag, we're going to shut the water flow off and see if we can see anything visible in the razorback matting. Okay, we've let it run about 3 minutes since we put the last little bit of gold hog concentrate through, and we're shutting the water off. Then we're going to check the matting, see what we've got.
Well, we just shut it off, and right in here is a bunch of gold.
That's in the micro groove, or the small groove. This is before the largest riffle. That seems to be a favorite spot for gold to get caught on this matting. I don't know if my finger's going to throw it out of focus, but all these small grooves here, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little tiny flake right there. In fact, all through this, there's gold up here, there's gold caught in here, there's gold caught in these micro grooves here. There's quite a bit of gold caught in that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of it in here.
So we're gonna take this down, flush out the matting, and then pan what we've got, and show you what we recovered. Now mind you, probably about 99.9% of this gold that's caught in this mat came from the gold hog concentrates we got. So we only processed a couple buckets out of this stream, and knowing this stream, we would probably have to go through at least 30 or 40 buckets to come up with the gold that's in that matting right now. So just keep in mind that this came from the concentrates that we purchased. Okay, right at the end of his finger, some flour gold is accumulated right in the micro grooves. I hope you can see that. I go any closer, it throws it out of focus. So, but anyway, we're going to clean this matting out, pan it out, and we'll show you what the matting recovered. I am thoroughly impressed with this matting. For a stream sluice, this is perfect. Yeah, we're cleaning the mat out now. We didn't bring any jet dry, so we're going to be very delicate with this matting. And usually when cleaning out the matting with flour gold, even the UR and the scrubber matting, I always like to throw a little bit of jet dry in the clean out tray or pan, whatever you're using, because flour gold will float away. But the gold we found in the matting we showed you previously. I'm pretty impressed with this, and you'll notice it was caught up in the upper first sections of the matting. It wasn't further down in the matting, so that goes to show you this stuff's grabbing the gold as soon as it hits the matting, which is perfect. I'd be a little concerned if it was, we were finding gold about a foot away from the end of the sluice. If we were doing that, good possibility we were blowing some out, but
You can want to show the concentrates out of the...
yeah. Yeah, here's the concentrates we got out of the mat. Not a whole lot. There's probably about a half a cup in there.
Yeah.
And we're going to see if we can pan out into something and hope we don't lose anything. Like I said, we don't have any jet dry, which I can kick myself for not bringing. So we'll get to panning here in just a second, and we'll show you what we got. Well, I'm not going to show you the panning process because that is long and boring. Yeah, we're going to start panning here in a moment. Notice this isn't clear water. Like I said, we're doing this pretty much in a mud hole, so it is muddy water. And we're going to save everything we pan out and go through it a little better when we get back. I hope this is not blurry because I don't have my glasses on, but I hope you can see the gold right up there at the very top. And this isn't even panned out good. There's flakes in there, there's wire gold, there's garnet. And I just want to remind you, the majority of this, like I said, probably 99.9% of it, came from the gold hog concentrates we ran. I like this matting. Sun just went behind the clouds, and I don't know if I've really got enough good light here to show you, but this is what we didn't blow down into the bottom of the pan. There's still a lot of very fine gold that's down the black sand we panned out. The matting works well.